I kept saying never thought I'd like you. It's a good make it away. It's a wonder song day on the train, but you freaked out. Vision that today he echoed some of the same values of freedom and justice. He said our journey is not complete. The question is, will he help lead the next stage of this journey? He also called upon us to answer the call of history together. Again, that word together. I thought it was a very powerful speech. There were so many references to the journey that we've been through, but also, I guess, the road ahead. And so, in many ways, I thought it was a better speech than he gave 4 years ago. It was clearly, in my judgment, more passionate than the speech he gave 4 years ago.
No question about that, Congressman. So, Nicole Wallace, of course, you worked for President George W. Bush. The president used the word together, as I said, but as you go through the speech, what do you think Republicans think about
this is a president who is fired up, and I think that happens after winning re-election. You feel that you have a mandate, that you've not just been chosen over your competitor, but there's a mandate for your idea. I heard a full-throated defense of Obama's brand of liberalism. I heard a lengthy defense of laying out what his bottom line is, defending entitlement programs in terms of climate change, as John Carl described. And I think that Republicans would be well served to try to match this president in their fire and their enthusiasm and their full-throated defense of their different philosophical posts on those issues.
Let's take a moment and go outside to the people who only see him as a distant speck, but came anyway to be there. Bill Weir, if you can hear me now, tell me what was going on around you during the speech.
It was really interesting, Diane. I talked to a few volunteers who actually expressed some disappointment that they had shut the mall prematurely. It was markedly different in terms of the density of the crowd. Much more space, a lot of open space. Park Service is estimating between 5 and 800,000 compared to 1.8 million a year ago. So this was a smaller, more intimate, and a subdued reaction, I have to say. But 4 years ago, I still remember the moment when George W. Bush left in a helicopter to the cheers of all the Democrats who were there, and just the seismic history they had witnessed to see the first African-American president. A lot of people say this is a re-election of an African-American president is equally historic, but a rather subdued reaction, at least here in the mall there.
That is interesting, Bill. Thank you. Martha Raddatz, the president just walked by you there in the Capitol.
He certainly did. Vice President Biden and President Obama just walked through here. The president is going to sign a proclamation about hope and resolve. That's what he signs. He also signs his nomination for new cabinet positions. You know, George, I actually thought there was a bit of sternness in President Obama's speech. He talked about coming together, but he was very forceful. It wasn't a plea to come together. It seemed like a demand to come together. So I did indeed think there was some sternness mixed with all that optimism.
And Cokie Roberts, the president, coming up to this inaugural address today, has been in something of a confrontational mode with Congress ever since the election.
And much more willing to say, I'm going to do it my way, than he was before the election. And we certainly did see it when he talked about the few doing well and the many not, and all of that. That's just an echo of the whole campaign speeches. But I do think, as Donna said, that there was a sense of optimism here that we have not seen from this president, that he has been much more serious and often too pessimistic, I think. And this speech talking about what we as citizens can do, that whole calling the citizenry into action at the end there, that we can lift and defend our most ancient values and enduring ideas as citizens. And I think it really is a call to action that we have not heard from him as an American people. He's now in the president's room.
A room set aside for the president when they constructed this part of the Capitol. He's going to sign those nominations we've heard about. John Brennan to be director of the CIA,
Hagel to be Secretary of Defense.